Oh, hi, Donald. How you doing today?
Oh, gosh, Donald, we can't understand anything you say.
Bizarre Brain Comics.
Hello there. Gary here for Bizarre Brain Comics. And we're going to talk about a story that's in this book right here. This is from Walt Disney's Uncle Scrooge. This is number 335 from 2004. Now you might think I was going to talk about this magnificent Don Rosa's story, which is the lead of the book. But no, I'm not. This time, I want to talk about Donald Duck. There's a Donald Duck story in here too. And see, just a couple episodes back, I did an episode about Howard the Duck. And of course, comparisons come up to Donald Duck. So I thought it would be quite interesting to do Donald Duck for comparison. Okay? So let's delve into the big book of knowledge. Okay, Donald Duck from Uncle Scrooge, number 335, 2004. It's from Gemstone Publishing. And the title of the story is The Old Fishing Hole by Michael Gilbert as the writer, and the artist is just listed as Rodriguez. In Donald Duck, he's Donald Fauntleroy Duck, an anthropomorphic white duck created by the Walt Disney Company. And he has appeared in more films than any other Disney character. Guess that should make him more popular than Mickey. His first print appearance was in The Adventures of Mickey Mouse in 1931, which I think we're talking about the comic strip there. And his first animation appearance was in The Wise Little Hen in 1934. Okay, Michael Gilbert, also probably better known in comics as Michael T. Gilbert, for Terry, I think is what it said. Michael Gilbert, he was born in 1951. He's an American writer and artist who has worked in underground and mainstream comics. His first published work was a self-published underground comic called New Pals Comics. That's with a Z in the Pals and X in the Comics. And he worked on several publications from Star Reach and Kitchen Sink and others such as Quack. And he worked with P. Craig Russell on Michael Moorcock's Elric of Melniboné, which is a sword and sorcery fantasy series of novels, and they did the adaptation to comics. But he's best known for his Eclipse Comics title, Doc Stern, Mr. Monster. I haven't seen that in a long time. I don't think I've even ever read any of those. But I've read Quack. I think I've got an issue somewhere. And he created the character of the Wraith, which is a parody of the Spirit. Okay. So, let us take a little adventure with Donald Duck here in Uncle Scrooge. Yeah, okay, there's the cover of this issue of Uncle Scrooge. And there's my little Disney pals. Uncle Scrooge. Yeah. Yeah, here is the lead story, Uncle Scrooge, and it is wonderfully done, written and drawn by Don Rosa. I did, about a year ago, I did the Don Rosa thing. Might have to do another one sometime in the future, but here we are. Donald Duck in the old fishing hole. And here's Donald. Like I said, the artist is just listed as Rodriguez. And I don't know who that is, doesn't have a full name. And I do know that for Disney Comics, they got a lot of writers and artists from South American countries. And then it's their primary audience is in Europe. Most of the stuff is published first in Europe and then later reprinted in the U.S., if at all. So that's what we see. So I'm thinking he's probably from like Brazil or Argentina or somewhere. I don't know. Hey, it could be an American. But he's, like I said, he's just listed as Rodriguez. And there's Donald at the old fishing hole. And having no luck except catching little minnows. And he's not happy. Pulls his boat in. And here comes Gyro Gearloose, the crazy, the wacky goose inventor. And okay, here, the standard Disney type page layout, 4-tier, 8-panel layout, standard. Of course, there are exceptions in the way the layout is, but that's the standard tier. And Gyro says he's out here to test his time machine belt. And then he pops out. Donald goes crazy looking for him, and then a few seconds later, pops back in. Oh, that convinces Donald. So Donald says, "Hey, I remember this was. Of course, you can understand him here, but usually you can't understand him. He's got the idea. Hey, I remember when this was a really good fishing hole about 10 years ago. Let me use that thing for a couple hours. Send me back in time about 10 years, and I can catch a lot of fish." Says okay, and he helps him set the timer. Says for about 10 meters to include the boat, and he makes an error when he punches in the time. And this is some really nice, clean artwork. It's not as good as Don Rosa. Nobody does ducks like Don Rosa, but it's very good, and probably better than some of the older stuff that I've seen. And pops back in time, and suddenly he's up in the air. What the heck? And he splashes down. His boat falls into the lake, into the pond, but it's not. It's more than just a pond. Oh, it's big. What the heck is going on? And then he says, "Oh my gosh, it's that big old dinosaur, and there are pterosaurs and all these creepy. Oh my gosh, I made a mistake." That's when they realize, "Let me out of here." And clack, 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 and the time machine doesn't work, because that's right, he had forgotten that Gyro Gearloose told him that it takes like 3 hours for the thing to recharge. So he's got to spend 3 hours back here in the age of dinosaurs. He says 100 million years, or 10 million years, but it would be closer to 100 million years. And see, good example of a big old fish that catch out. Ooh, that gets him interested. Ooh, but to get a fish that big, oh, this clam tries to catch something, and he gets a clam, and it squirts him in the face. Giant clam, and the mosquitoes are incredibly huge, and he's whacking them like a baseball bat, like it's a baseball bat. And then so he's got to get. All his fish are jumping all over the place, and that makes him happy. So he's got to find bait that will do the job. Meanwhile, while he's on there, he sees this big old dinosaur theropod. people might think it's supposed to be a T-Rex, but it can't be a T-Rex because it's got 3 fingers on each hand. So it's got to be some kind of allosauride or some other type of theropod. And he just misses getting squashed. And then he sees, oh, there's a big old worm. I'll use that for bait. And he starts pulling it with this huge, gigantic earthworm. And the earthworm is not happy. Oh, and they're face to face. Quack. Look at the little nice, clean, lovely artwork. Well composed. Great storytelling. And the line work is just lovely. Lovely line work. And he goes to punching on that earthworm and to no avail. That worm just whacks him a good one. So he decides he's gonna have to make do. He pulls it off a vine, breaks off a vine, paints a little face on it like the worm. He uses the boat anchor for a hook, ties it on there, and makes it look like an earthworm. And then there he is, fishing away, and he gets a bite. But this is not just a nibble. This is a huge fish, and it takes him for a ride. He goes all over it. It's like Moby Dick, man. I like the face on that fish there. And he pulls his makeshift rod out of his hand, and the fish is long gone. And he lands right on top of that dinosaur's head. Again, the dinosaur is very nicely done. It's a lovely line work. It's cartoonish, kind of a humorous appearance, but it looks really nice. Crashes on there, and then the dinosaur sends him on flying again. And it's been about, just as he splashes down, and all these fish go flying out of the water as he splashes down. And they go, he's covered in gunk. And says, sees all the fish about to fall on him, so it's been about 3 hours, the thing ought to be recharged, and he pushes the button and to zap him back into the present. Just as the fish hit, he goes zapping away. And then here's Gyro Gear loose, looking for Donald. And Donald is both happy and not happy. He's not happy with the time machine, but he's here. Yeah, one fell right into my... Is it, what? No minnows? More minnows? No, one fell right into my boat. But you see here, but of course, minnows were a little bigger back then. And there's a cute face on that fish, and they all look like pals rather than like he's going to eat it, but that's cute. That's nice. And that's all. And that's all I wanted to show you for Donald Duck. That was fun. Just fun. Good kitty story. But it's fun for adults too. They can appreciate it. Now, since I had mentioned Donald Duck and Howard the Duck, and this past week, I did this little cartoon. And it says here, this is Howard and Donald together. Of course, Donald is usually irritated, screaming up a storm. Says, I don't see why people get us confused. Donald and me ain't nothing alike. That's Howard smoking a cigar, wearing his suit coat. Started out with blue and then later turned to red, but before he eventually got pants. But that's just my little fun thing, my little cartoon. And yeah, that was just fun. I hope you enjoyed it. Be good starter story for kids. And so, Gilbert did I think. It's a wonderful little story. He thought of all kinds of stuff there. So it's a well-written story and a beautifully drawn story, and good visual storytelling. There's nothing bad you can say about it that I can see, other than that it's a funny animal story. And of course, in their world, there are no humans. Everyone is an animal of some kind. Ducks, geese, mice, dogs, what have you. Whereas in the Howard the Duck's world, he is the only anthropomorphic duck in a world of humans. In the world he never made. But they're all both good fun. And, well, that's all I've got for you. Hope you enjoyed it. Please share with your other comic book friends or people who just like Disney. Share it with the kids. They might get a kick out of it. And
Remember, comics are art.
Gosh, Donald, I still can't understand you. Gosh.